Took a deep breath and opened my eyes. There was a man, dressed in black, a woolen hat pulled down over his forehead, a scarf or jumper or something high on his neck. But I saw him, and he saw me. He looked straight up at me, raised a gloved hand to gesture to me, to bid me to come to him, and I fell to my knees, then curled into a ball, squeezing my eyes as tightly as I could, because monsters were real. The bogeyman we had always been told was just make-believe stalked our streets.
Chapter 1. Declan. Thursday, 3rd of November, 1994. Declan and Niall Heaney had gone against their mother's express wishes and had not come home straight after school. They had been on their best behaviour all day in their stuffy classroom, and now all the energy they'd managed to control for 6 long hours needed to be expended. And they had a den to visit, one they went to every day, little more than a hole in the large bushes and trees that ran along the side of the reservoir at the Creggan Country Park, or the Resi as they called it. It was the Heaney twins' favourite place on earth. One day it could be a headquarters for the Power Rangers, the next a soldier's dugout, or a ninja training camp. Most of all, though, it was theirs. It had just the right amount of foliage cover to provide a shelter of sorts in the rain and shade in the summer, and the old lunchbox they had buried, telling the long-suffering Mrs. Heaney it had been lost, held a trove of treasures fit for any 10-year-old boy. Chewing gum, Match Attax trading cards, a box of matches, 2 cigarettes they'd secreted from their daddy's stash but hadn't dared smoke yet, half a packet of bourbon creams, 56 pence exactly in loose change, a pair of dice, a knife that had been blunted a long time ago, and a folded page from one of their school jotters in which they gave the girls in their class marks out of 10. They didn't need much more. They had their imaginations after all, and they used whatever they could get their hands on as props for whatever world they created that day. They knew that Kelly Doherty was missing. Of course they did. Everyone in the estate did. They imagined that probably everyone in Derry, maybe even all of Northern Ireland, knew about Kelly. She'd gone out collecting for Halloween with her friends and had become separated from them at some stage. It was now a whole 3 days later and she still hadn't come home, so the search had shifted to the land surrounding the reservoir. Kevin Mackay had told him that he heard his mommy and daddy say that poor Kelly was probably dead now, and it was probably better for her that she was. Neither Kevin nor the Heaney twins understood what that meant, but they were happy to parrot it anyway. "We have to go and maybe help look for her," Niall had said. "This is like something off the TV or a movie." Declan had resisted at first, but his brother had a point. It was a big deal, and besides, if they went home, their mommy would just make them do their homework straight away like she always did. It would be more interesting to see the search in full swing, but he didn't actually want to look for her, especially if Kevin Mackay's mommy and daddy were right. They'd watched as a group of maybe 100 grown-ups had set off walking around the country park at the top of the reservoir. They were wearing bright yellow jackets, carrying torches and sticks which they used to poke around in the grass. From where Niall and Declan sat in their den, close to the water's edge, they could hear the repeated shouts of Kelly's name. "They've a van up there with tea and soup and biscuits and stuff," Niall said. "For all them people searching, do you think they would give us some?" Declan had considered this for a moment and had shaken his head. "Nah, I bet it's only for grown-ups that get that." He sniffed, drawing the sleeve of his duffel coat under his nose. It was cold, and the sky looked like it could open up and dump buckets of rain on them at any time. "Da said he's going to go out and look with him later," Niall said, digging out the old lunchbox from its bed of leaves and dirt.